I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Kobe.
And today we have a really pressing topic that all of us need to talk about because as millennials, as black women, as people in general, anybody's listening to this, I don't know why I had to go ham on black women because that's who I am. But we're going to talk about prioritizing, balancing life, holding ourselves accountable to live the life that we want to and not get overwhelmed like we talked about in our last two podcasts. I mean, in our podcast, 2 podcasts ago. But Kobe, this is actually your topic that you brought up. And just tell the people, our soulmates, what made you think about this topic?
So this actually came from last week. So we try to schedule out our months in advance about, our schedules, our times to film. Right. And typically we try to do Saturday mornings. And so I knew that one weekend in, we're in July still, in July, that I was going to have to be at Kyle's family reunion. Mm-hmm. So I said, hey, let's do Saturday morning. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we did not get that Saturday morning. So we were like, okay, either we can do it Thursday or Sunday. Mm-hmm. And I had already, like I said, I already made plans to go to his family reunion. Right. And so, which I went last year and I'm going again this year. Right. But then I had to come back and say, hey, I might have to, leave the family reunion early or, we haven't recorded this week. How can we, work this out? Right. And it kind of started a huge argument about him feeling like I'm always canceling or adjusting our plans for other things. And so
Jarvis is the same way.
Which, I had to take a step back because I was just like really just shocked. I'm like, how can you say? And he really, just voice his opinion, is this how it's going to be when we're married? Are you going to always be putting things before me? And it just really made me
question.
Like, go, like, okay. Right. But it all worked itself out. We end up filming Monday. I end up spending the weekend with his family, so it all worked itself out. But even though that was something small, it was like a bigger underlying issue with that situation. Yeah. And it made me go, like, okay, how is it gonna be? And then it made me just look at our current situation. Am I really, making an effort to put him, make him feel important? Because that is important to make your partner feel like they're loved, like they're important.
Definitely.
That's good.
It definitely put things in perspective.
It does.
And it's like you want to take the people that's closest to you, their opinion, especially if they're expressing something to you. You don't want to just brush it off and be like, you tripping, this is a priority. Like, no, that's being hella insensitive.
Exactly.
And so you in a partnership, you have to listen to both sides, even though sometimes it's not what you want to hear. Like, for instance, piggybacking off your story, a similar situation happened like that with Jarvis and I this weekend. And it was, because remember I was telling y'all that he was meeting my family for the first time. Yes. And so it's just a matter of communicating and getting on that same playing field, because what I pictured in my mind was completely different from what you pictured in your mind. Right. And so it's like, if we don't verbally express and like vocally be vocal about it, then it's just you're not gonna see eye to eye. So example, I had in my mind, like, we about to go down there, spend time with our family, have dinner, all these, like, we was gonna go to a party, a whole itinerary, right? So, like, how we like to do, but guys, they're not really thinking like that. But he's like, I just thought we was going down there to meet them. And because this is how he would do with his own family members. So it's just like the way,
that
people view family and like how high the priority. Because, like, for him, he's like, family reunion probably comes around once every year. You have your podcast every week. So why can't y'all just push or like, and that seems logical.
Too. Yes.
Because I said that same thing to Jarvis. I said that same thing to Jarvis because I was like, you with your teammates, because his teammates had team dinner after the game, and so Coach was treating. I didn't know all that, like Coach was treating, but still, anyway, I was like, but you can eat with your teammates after every game. Yeah. Like, this is just not once in a lifetime, but this don't cycle around as often. So it's just like, you just have to, he's like, well, if you would have just said, you know, like, voice that to me, I'm like, hey, babe, I'm going to go eat with my team. And you would have been like, no, I have plans. I would have been cool either way it went. But I was just like, you should already read my mind and knew what I wanted and knew that in my mind, I had planned all this, that, and the third. But it's like, you just have to vocalize those things to the person, and then it may go rough that first time. That's just what it is. You might have to blow some steam off. Y'all might have to, you know, calm down, cool down until you can see it from the other person's perspective. Yes. It's all about that. Okay, right now we heated. So probably our emotions is too high. So neither one of us even really gonna care what the other one got to say. Yes, it's just like, I hear you, but now let me tell you why I'm right. Exactly. Like, let me tell you where I was coming from with it though.
You come defensive first.
Exactly. You come with like, and most times when your emotions are heated, you're just trying to prove or like get your side of, like, this is where I seen it from. This was my perspective. And they're thinking the same thing. This is my perspective. This is where I'm coming from. And so neither one of y'all are wrong. But it's just like, you have to like, okay, once that little maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, hour, depending on how petty people are.
I know, look.
I could be a couple hours, or I don't know, it depends. Each his own. But after you get to that point, you will then talk it out, and you realize, like you say, we worked it all out, because you realize, okay, you right, I'm wrong, okay, I should have came about it this way, I should have thought about it, I didn't see that, but next time in the future, now we know, okay, instantly how to communicate this and how I'm going to communicate that, and then now I need to take in more consideration that, oh, you do feel some type of way, because y'all, we got y'all spoiled. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. But they spoil us as well. So we're all spoiled. So if you really want to say it, I'm just going, well, I think we are. And so it's just like, it's nothing wrong with that, but just being able to communicate that, that's what's going to get you. So in the future, to answer Kyle's question, like, are we going to have to worry about that? We're married? No, because we're going to graduate from this. And if you do see something coming up, or I do see something, I'll call it out and be like, remember the last time we didn't talk this thing through, it led us to this, and that.
Yes. So, and I think it's going to be more situations like that. I just have to learn to take each one individually, because I was talking to a coworker about it, and she was like, you know what, I was battling like going to a friend's graduation party or going to the beach with my family, and she was like, this is a friend that I don't see often, like I can always, but it's not often that I get to go to the beach, you know, the beach is like an hour, you know, and then with my family. So she was like really torn. So it's just situations like that. So just to the audience, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend situation, or husband, wife situation. It could be, you know, you and a friend, choosing between your friend and your family, choosing between your child and work, you know. So it just made me think like, okay, this is something that I have to really think about, you know, just going on, like as a woman, as a person, as an individual.
I really like this. Okay, I like the root of this, and I just really am proud of you, and I'm really proud of Kyle, because a lot of times people don't bring up things or keep things swept under the rug, but the fact that he even pointed out this point, he said, is this how it's going to be like when we get married? First of all, you think about marrying your ass. Okay. But also, these are the questions that need to be asked before marriage, because if you don't identify these key factors, like anybody who's in a relationship, particularly, you need to ask these. If something comes up and you feel a type of way, it's important for you to verbalize these things before marriage, because you want to make sure you don't bring as much stuff. You want to make sure you don't bring as much negative things like into your marriage. And so like talking these out, of course these are going to come up in marriage that you didn't expect, but like it's very important that y'all are talking about those things and also making changes. And like you were saying, like when we do, someone does confront us about something, like you do get defensive first. And it's funny that y'all said this, because it's actually like a scientific thing. We did this video at my job. We talked about how you feel when you first fall in love with someone, and how all these chemicals in your brain make you feel like euphoric and stuff like that, where you can't really see the real, and you have to wait until like it all settles so you can actually see what it is for reality. And that's the same thing with like fights or disagreements. It's like our chemicals are going crazy in our mind. We can't see nothing. We just want to react fast and not really listen. But once things settle down, that's why it's like you go back to a person. You're like, you know what?
I didn't see that at first. I ain't
right.
getting it. Now I do.
Like, you know what? You were actually right.
Right. I was tripping. My bad.
But I will say with like advice, like just because I know what soul filling is and I'm a part of it, is also it's not only being verbal with your partner, but also being verbal with your partners and soul filling. It's like, you know, so sometimes like we have to cancel things because, you know, I need to be with my boyfriend, I need to be with my family, I need to be with, I need to do something else that's a higher priority at this moment. And if like for some reason like you have to also verbalize that to your business partners to be like, hey, this is a priority for me. I'm not gonna be able to be there, and that's just it. And then as opposed to like you have to realize like, okay, you know, that's not a priority. It's important to know what's a priority and what's not, because soul filling may be a top priority for me, but it might not be that for other people, you know. That's just the at that time, you know, priorities shift. But also it's just like, if you like, y'all feel like you have to spend more time with your relationship, it's like if you are able to say that to like your workspace or like your work partners, then y'all could all compromise to make sure everyone gets, you know, what they want. You know, so that's very important too. It's like, I really can't do this thing. I want to, like, Mondays for me, y'all know I don't really like to work out, like to film on Mondays, because I really find happiness in going to this one day workout class. And so, but sometimes I bite the bullet and I'm like, I don't bite the bullet. I move around the time for us to do soul filling, and then I go to class or we do it afterwards. So it's just like, we could do the most sometimes when we want something, you know, if that makes sense to you guys. Like,
that makes total sense.
But
no, I think that was part of it too. If I had vocalized sooner, like, hey, this weekend is something special, and knowing that that's important to him, like, hey, let's film on Thursday because look, Sunday I don't want to be rushed, or you know, I have to rush back. You know what I'm saying? So that's valid. That's true.
But also, we don't know how important some things are to other people. It's like, ooh, I didn't know.
And that was the learning thing too. It's like, dang, had I known that was really important to him, I would have pushed Thursday versus, you know.
Right. Because sometimes we try to just naturally put the world on our back, put our S on our chest. We be Superwoman, Wonder Woman. Like, I
can do it all.
20 hats at once.
Like today.
At one time. Like,
we all three of us have been doing 7 things today. Period. Like,
minimum. That ain't even,
girl, I've been running around town.
Girl.
We're over here leaving storages open. Like, it's been a day.
Girl.
A good day, though.
A wonderful day. A wonderful day. In spite of it all. Like, but yeah, just exactly that. We just have to. I lost what was saying? I just thought about how great today has been, even in spite of all the things we've been doing. But yeah,
talk about knowing the importance of things to people and what that means. I don't know. We just don't know until the situation arises. I don't know.
I do have something to say when this topic got brought up. Is though I'm not like in a relationship, I have a gazillion ideas in my mind, and so like there's a lot of things I want to do. Y'all know this. There's a lot of big ideas I want to do in life, business wise, personal wise. Want to be healthy, want to be snatched, like spiritual wise, and especially after we went to Christ Over Culture, Faith and Finances live podcast. She talked about, you know, just how to be popping in your finances.
Yeah, just those habits, that mindset, and related to finances, and being, you know, sticking to that plan, sticking to your budget, and understanding what's important to you, and then making those decisions financially to do what's right for your finances.
Right. And so after hearing all this, I got riled up. I'm like, okay, now I know I need to do this, and that. And then after this, like, intuition of, oh, yes, this is what I'm supposed to do, I got overwhelmed with, how am I going to do this? Like, this is a lot. I started watching videos on how to get property, how to sell property, how to be a property manager. I'm like, ooh, and I want to do soul filling, and I want to work, and I want to be fine. And then I realized, like, something clicked in my head. I was like, wait, you do not worry about the how, you just do. You cast your worries upon God. And so it's like, I know we had the conversation earlier. You were like, how am I supposed to be this popping, soul-filling host over here popping at my job, be a whole wife, a whole mom, a whole baddie, and like, how am I supposed to do that? Well, don't worry about the how. Just take the steps to do, and God's gonna figure it out for you. You're gonna be like, how am I over here? Got a baby on my heels over here, my husband happy, soul feeling, prospering. It's just like, you do the best you can because we're human, and like we always say, God meets us the rest of the way.
And you know what's crazy? I actually heard a sermon about that this past Sunday about control. Like, that's one thing that I battle with, is like having control of my life. Right? And I'm always saying, look, I got my Think and Grow Rich book. What is it? I am the master of my fate. I'm the captain of my soul. You know, always saying that.
I love that.
But the reality is, and he compared our pastor, Pastor Beatty, compared it to drums. He's a drummer at his church, and so you have your bass and your foot. That's like what controls how your tempo, right? And so he said sometimes at church when he was playing as a young child, he would get so into it that he would break his foot piece.
Oh my God!
So can you imagine trying to beat and do something without your foot piece? Your tempo, your rhythm. So he compared the foot piece to God, right? But just wait. Yes.
Okay.
So he was still playing without that piece, but he was like, guess what? Sometimes God is saying he wants to take the control away from you just to show you that, hey, I'm the one in control. I got
the captain.
Yes.
Always.
Always.
So we have to put our faith and our trust in him and just allow him to lead us. Because sometimes we want to go faster than what we... He like, what you doing? Like, you trying to add a little extra flair to it and do all that. He like, I didn't tell you to do all that.
Right.
Like, slow it down a bit. Sometimes we want to go too slow. And he like, nope, you need to...
Girl, you being lazy now.
Exactly. So I just learned I had to surrender, release that control, and just kind of let things...
Yeah, that's so true.
That's everything, and it's so true. It just made me think, like, you know, we've been going through this, I think, this transition space to where it's just like, you really like, you want to know what's next. I'm like, okay, for Jarvis, so example, we I told y'all we just took a trip to Waco. We met my mom and my grandpa. They came to the game. In his game, y'all, it was such a good game. Like, oh my gosh, the game was good. Like, imagine like the 3-point line just being a free throw line. Just seriously, they were shooting threes, lights out, both teams back to back. And so Jarvis, I was like, you trying to put on a show? Like, I see you. He like killing it. Like, when I tell you, my man had 64 points.
Wow.
What?
6 and a 4. Y'all heard that right. Like,
get him in the NBA right now. Like, put on Rockets.
Like what are you, like, baby boy? And so proud of you. Like, no, but all in all, like, he had a phenomenal game. Unfortunately, we lost by 6, but I'm like, babe, we ain't gonna take nothing away from like how amazing you did. Yes, your performance was like out of this world. And that was a career high for him. Like, yes, ever. So I'm like, look at you, like, killing. And so after the game, he was just like, me and him had a real good heart to heart, and he was just like, you know, I feel like, what's next? Like, I do all that, I go out there, I give my all, and like, you know, now I'm like, I gotta come back to playing in a men's league, or I gotta go back to like being on the chase. Like, I want to know when's my next contract or break or opportunity or whatever. And I was just like, you know, we just got to surrender it to God. And I think I told him a story that, so I think Joyce Meyer, she said it when she came to Lakewood like 2 or 3 Sundays ago. But basically, she was basically saying that, like Kobe was just saying, like, we don't have to know what's going on right now. We don't have to know what's going on. Just put your faith, put your trust, put your confidence in just trust in the unknown, trusting that I can take my feet off the wheel. I can put forth my best, do my best, give my best, and God is going to just miraculously, well, for us, it's going to look like it's a miracle. He's going to work a miracle out. And so that being said, this was on last Sunday. Yes, last Sunday. We find out that he just left for China last night at 1:00 in the morning. Like, he got a job offer literally like that Tuesday. And it was just like to go to China for a weekend and play and earn a good amount of wealth that he would normally earn in a month's time for just a weekend. We like, level up, baby. Come on. Kill it. And it's just like make you so proud. Like, wow, literally we was just, and I was like, cause that's crazy. Cause I was saying right as it happened, we was like, babe, we were just talking about this yesterday, like,
you got that call
and you got that return, like,
wow.
And 30 point, like, you have not because you asked not. And it's just like makes me think like we boldly have to just put out what we want to God, and like with the action, of course, and God is gonna just pour blessings in our lives, like He's already doing, if we just open our eyes and see them. But yes, it's crazy. It's just like, just more of the story. Trust in what God has for you. Trust in what God has for you, even if you can't see it right now.
I love that you say you have not because you ask not, because sometimes we forget the asking on two levels, because we hear that and we're like, okay, let me ask for a raise, let me ask for right. When we're talking about people, like, let me ask my mama for this, let me see if this investor will invest in me, let me see if this will be a sponsorship. And then we also forget, like, to ask God, like, this is what I want. Like, God, I would like Soul Filling to prosper and be on this channel, and ask big of Him. And it's like, sometimes that made me think, like, I've been forgetting to ask to the Most High. I've been asking, humans, which you should do as well. Yes. But also make sure that when you're praying, that you pray big, and that ask and be specific on the things that you want, because God is going to be like, oh, I've been waiting for you to ask. Here you go. Next day, I'm on the flight to China.
Real talk. It's just exactly what you said. We really literally have to ask, because I know sometimes we just get on autopilot and we get frustrated of like our current situation, but it's like God has the answers. We're trying to use our own human minds to try to, let me go file papers or check 1,000 more emails, send 1 million more, this, like, overexert ourselves. Not saying that it's going in vain, but it's just like, we doing all that because we trying to ask other people for the answers, ask ourselves for the answers, but it's like, until you ask yourself along with God, you're just wasting, not wasting your time, but wasting, like, extra excess energy that if you were just divinely aligned, all of this stuff will be figured out. If you put yourself in alignment with the answers, like, and that was literally one of our prayers the night before, like, God, give us the answers to what's going on. Like, let it make sense. We don't know what's going on, but like, answer all of the questions that we know that we have, and the questions we don't even know we have. And like, God will just pour them blessings in your life.
Yes. But yeah, this whole topic has made me go back to this book, Think and Grow Rich, and I've been reading into it. And the first chapter is about faith. It talks about faith, and it also kind of hints at that the underlining issue of why a lot of people lack that faith is because of it's like a insecurity thing. Like, you don't have faith because deep down inside you don't believe in yourself. You don't have the self-confidence that you need to have. So it talks about a lot about thinking. If you think you can, then you can. So and then that builds onto your faith. And once you have that faith, it also talks about desires, and you have to have that burning desire to want whatever it is that you want. And so my burning desire right now is that I want to be the best daughter that I can, be there for my mother, be there for my siblings, be there for my partner, future husband. I want to be the best in every aspect. And so that's a burning desire for me. And so now it's like I have to stop thinking that I can't, that I'm gonna fail, and just believe that I can.
Yeah, definitely. Because that's frequency, that's vibrations, and just for me, you have to be aware of that insecurity. Like, I'm so glad that you said that, because sometimes our self-worth has been brought down with ourselves. Like, we forget, like, sometimes like it's been hard for me this year a little bit because I've been going up and down with not really understanding like I'm worth anything that I want.
Yes.
And so I had to ask myself when I start feeling down, like, why am I feeling worthless? Why? Like, and then you have to like dissect that. Oh, I'm feeling this way, and then I have to talk myself out of it. Like, no, you are literally amazing person. Like you really deserve everything that you want. You deserve. And then my frequency starts getting higher and higher, and then I start to attract the things in the people into my life. Because I'm on that frequency again. And so it's just important to pay attention to what frequency you are on right now. Are you on the frequency of low self-esteem or I'm valuable? And we have to really work on that because that is going to bring us exactly what we want. The frequency we are on is the frequency we're going to get in return. And don't be scared of that because you can always raise your frequency higher. The closer you get to God, the higher frequency will be. But there's things that we talk about in like our first podcast, through all the podcasts, that you can do to raise your frequencies up to get exactly what you want. Because honestly, you do deserve that thing. That whatever that thing is, you can get it. So but we have to cut this podcast short. Soulmates,
today has been
we tried. But I think we packed in a lot, and we can maybe do a part 2. Maybe we'll do like something live on our Instagram or Facebook where we could finish this conversation, because I think we can dive into more about prioritizing and balancing.
And I want to hear definitely from the men, you know, because I know I was posing that question to the ladies. I was like, I know us as women, we think about that a lot, that work-life balance and being a good mom, being a good spouse, being a good business person. You know, we have to think about all those things. Yeah, do men ever think about that? You know, I know for them it's just like their hobbies, work, and, you know, spouse. And then
they seem like they be chilling.
Exactly. Like they just be straight relaxing.
Yes.
Right?
No stressing. No stress.
Me and Ola over there being the co-workers, or the 2 girls in there, and we're like, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. The 2 men are like, okay, tell me when. Oh, all right, cool.
Right? Like they just worried about bringing the bread home, the money. And it's like, all right, I did my part. Like
it's like, it's simple. They're like, y'all don't understand, it's just real simple. Like, but
I'm curious to know.
Yeah, right.
We
y'all
let us know.
Let us know. All right, y'all. So what time is it?
It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time.
Y'all, if this is your first time tuning in on the Soul Feeling Podcast, we always end our podcast with a positive affirmation. So what the heck is an affirmation? An affirmation is any statement that you are using to transform your life. Either you transforming it for the negative, for the demise, or you transforming it for the positive and the beautiful of all the abundance that God wants to pour into your life. In the Bible, it says, he who keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, but he who opens his lips wide shall have destruction. So guys, we're not just about to be opening our lips crazy, saying whatever and any other thing and just speaking negativity over our life. Instead, we're going to speak life into our life. And even also in the Bible, it says, let the weak say, I am strong. So on those days when you're feeling weak, don't say you're feeling weak. Instead, say God is sending a million fulfilling blessings into my life. So it's 3 of us, and I'm affirming that it's millions and trillions and billions that's tuned in, or just whomever is divinely meant to be. So who wants to go first?
I'll go ahead. Since the sun is hitting half of my melanated skin,
Girl.
I'm going to say I am glorious.
I am thankful for all the blessings that God is pouring into my life, all the ones he have poured into my life, and all the blessings that are in my life right now.
I am living to my greatest potential.
Yes, and she got like 1,000 gazillion million potential. Popping.
Yes.
Guys, make sure you follow us, like, subscribe. I don't know what you on, because we on SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, everything. So whatever you're listening to us on, make sure you subscribe. Give us a 5-star rating, especially on Apple Podcasts. and leave a nice review. I mean, it's gotta be nice if you listen to this whole podcast. And make sure you DM us if you have any questions. If you want to shout us out, you can shout us out. We'll repost you. We love you guys so much. And that's it. Bye.
Until next time, soulmates.